So there's this window of opportunity, maybe the next 12 to 18 months, roughly, where using these tools is a real competitive edge. After that, it'll likely become the standard expectation, not a differentiator. So the time to leverage it is really now.
In today's episode of the Interior DesignHer podcast, we're discussing how AI and AI-related technologies are going to completely transform the business of residential interior design. And while the data shows that there is zero reason for designers to worry that they're missing out, there is a significant opportunity for designers to start using AI tech to provide a superior service to their clients and to get paid for that improved service. The future is now. Let's get to it.
Have you ever found yourself dreaming up a complete redesign for a space, say your living room? You've got all these amazing ideas, maybe from Pinterest or magazines, but then you kind of hit a wall. How do you actually see if that new sofa works with those chairs? Or if that bold paint color really vibes with your floor? That gap between, the inspiration and seeing it tangibly. For a lot of us, it feels huge. Well, today we're taking a deep dive into an incredible revolution that's really closing that gap. It's happening right now in the interior design industry. We're going to explore how cutting-edge software is transforming, well, pretty much everything, from the initial ideas and planning all the way through to how designers actually present their vision to clients. For this deep dive, we've pulled together a whole stack of recent market outlooks and industry stats. Our sources are top research firms like the Business Research Company, GitNux, iMark Group, Market Report Analytics, and Grandview Research. It's a lot of data, a real treasure trove.
It really is.
Yeah.
And our mission today is to sort of distill the most important nuggets of knowledge, the key insights from all these sources, specifically for you. We want to give you a shortcut, basically, to understanding the surprising facts and, maybe more importantly, the strategic opportunities within this really dynamic market. We'll look at the sheer scale of the industry, how client demands are changing, and the powerful role technology like AI and VR is playing. It's pretty transformative stuff.
Okay, let's unpack this then, starting with some numbers, because they really tell a story here. The interior design software market. It isn't just growing, it's seeing some pretty steep expansion. Sources estimate it's set to jump from about $5.9 billion this year, 2024, to $6.69 billion in 2025. Just like that. That's a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 13.3%. I mean, what does that kind of jump really signal?
That pace is definitely compelling. It signals a market that's really undergoing a fundamental shift. It's moving beyond just small improvements. And if you look further out, the projections stay incredibly strong. We're talking maybe $10.87 billion by 2029, with a 12.9% CAGR. Another report suggests $10.4 billion by 2033, even with a slightly slower 7.3% CAGR. What's interesting, though, is the slight variation in the current market size estimates across the reports. Somewhere between $5.37 billion and $6.13 billion for now. But these little discrepancies, they actually highlight how fast this market is moving, how it's still kind of defining its edges, which honestly suggests there's a real advantage for early adopters, getting in before it all fully settles.
That's a really robust outlook just for the software side. And to put that in context, the whole interior design industry globally, that was valued around $150 billion back in 2021. And just the U.S. industry alone brought in about $16.2 billion in revenue in 2022. So yeah, we're talking about a massive economic engine here, and it's going through a major tech shift.
Exactly. And if we connect this growth to the drivers, historically, you had things like wider acceptance of CAD, computer-aided design, plus that big trend of house remodeling, and a growing focus on sustainability. Looking ahead, key drivers are things like the expansion of the residential sector, growing population, new construction tech helping out. For instance, U.S. existing home sales, they're forecasted to rise about 9% this year, 2024. That's about 4.46 million homes, up from 4.09 million last year. And this software, it just streamlines everything. Floor plans, furniture placement, choosing materials, doing those 3D illustrations. Oh, and we can't forget the smart home market. That's expected to hit $135 billion globally by 2025. Interior design is crucial there, making all that automation feel integrated, not just stuck on.
Right, so we've got the scale of the market. Now let's zoom in on the people, the designers, their clients. What are they actually asking for? In the U.S. alone, you've got roughly 100,000 professionals in the interior design field. And here's an interesting stat. About 60% of U.S. interior designers are female. Why is that maybe relevant here?
Well, it's an interesting observation. Industries with a higher female workforce often emphasize things like collaboration, client relationships, that personalized touch. And this new software, it can either massively boost those aspects, make them way more efficient, or if designers don't adopt it, They might struggle to meet those evolving client expectations. What's also striking is the industry structure. The majority, maybe 70% of designers, they work solo or run small firms. They average about 12 projects per firm each year. So it's competitive, yes, but also very entrepreneurial. Reputation and service quality are huge. And nearly half, about 50% of U.S. designers are licensed or certified. So there's a real emphasis on professional standards.
Okay. And earnings. What's the picture there?
The average annual salary in the U.S. is around $58,000.
$58,000 on average. When you hear that, it immediately makes you wonder, how can designers use these new tools to really boost their value? To maybe command higher fees, especially with clients expecting more high-tech visuals? Yeah, that economic reality must shape how they work. Which leads us straight to what clients are actually looking for today. Are expectations changing? Our sources say millennials make up about 35% of the client base. So their preferences must be shaping things, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's a really strong shift towards sustainability. Nearly 65% of clients say they prefer sustainable and eco-friendly options. And that lines up perfectly with designers. 45% report sustainability is a top priority for them in projects. In fact, just in 2022, the use of sustainable materials jumped 30%. Eco-friendly paints and finishes, up 45%. Plus, there's a tangible benefit for the client, too. Sustainable design principles can cut energy costs by up to 30%. That's a clear value add designers can point to.
Okay, sustainability is definitely huge. But beyond being green, what about aesthetics? What looks are people asking for? Are there new trends?
Clients are definitely asking for more personalized designs. That's reported by 55% of designers. They want spaces that really reflect them. As for styles, the top 3 in 2023 were minimalist, mid-century modern, and, interestingly, biophilic design.
Biophilic, right?
Yeah, 55% of designers saw client interest there. Think of living walls, maximizing natural light, using organic textures, creating that calming, nature-connected feel. Also, color psychology use. That's up 40% in the last 5 years. So, a deeper look at how colors impact mood. Cool tones for bedrooms, vibrant accents for creative spaces. Project costs usually range from, say, $2,000 to $15,000. Residential jobs typically take 3 to 6 months. And while homeowners fund most projects, about 75%, demand for commercial design has grown 20% recently. Those projects have an average budget around $500,000.
All right, let's pivot to the technology itself, because this is where it gets really interesting. We saw that stat. 80% of designers believe tech has improved their efficiency and creativity. It's huge. How is that belief actually playing out? What tools are they using?
It's playing out in some key areas. High-quality 3D modeling and rendering. That's becoming essential, absolutely essential. Right now, about 40% of residential designers are using 3D visualization tools when they present to clients, which is significant uptake, but well, we'll come back to that number, but it's moving beyond just static 3D images.
Yeah, so you mean like really immersive stuff, letting clients almost feel the space?
Exactly. Virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, they're gaining massive traction. VR adoption in design shot up 60% in 2022. It lets clients literally walk through a virtual version of the space before anything's built. And AR use grew 50% between 2021 and 2022. That lets you overlay digital furniture or finishes onto your actual room using a phone or tablet. For example, SketchUp for iPad. They launched a scan-to-design feature just this April. It uses Apple's Room Plan APIs, basically, the tech in your device, to quickly scan a room and turn it into an organized 3D model, almost instantly.
Wow. Okay, and AI. That's the big buzzword everywhere. How's AI influencing interior design? Is it taking over jobs, or is it more like a tool?
It's definitely more like a tool. Think of it as a super efficient assistant, maybe. AI-powered design tools saw a 65% jump in use in 2022. They're great for enhancing customization, automating repetitive tasks, stuff that frees up designers to focus on the more creative, strategic parts. A cool example is Venus Williams' AI platform, Palazzo. It debuted in March. Uses an AI chatbot for customized makeovers, lets you tweak things in images like changing a couch color instantly. And Wayfair launched Decorify last July. It's a generative AI tool that redesigns your space in different styles and then links you directly to the products you see. Pretty seamless. Okay, so powerful software. Where does it all live? Are designers still installing big programs on their desktops? Not so much anymore. The shift to cloud-based solutions. It's basically a complete platform shift. It's dominating. We're talking a 75% revenue share in 2024. The cloud enables remote access, real-time collaboration with teams and clients anywhere, and scalable storage, which you need for big design files. For instance, HON launched a tool called the HON Collection Configurator in September. It's a 3D product configurator, uses AR for visualization, and really simplifies that whole design-to-order process. Now, on-premises solutions, the ones you install locally, they still exist. They're even growing a bit over 9% DAGR, mainly because some prefer that one-time license fee. But the industry is clearly moving to the cloud, especially for integration with things like BIM, building information modeling. That lets designers, architects, builders all work off the same digital model, super important for collaboration.
And looking ahead, what's becoming just standard, expected in a modern project?
Smart home automation. Nearly 70% of designers expect integrating smart home tech will just become standard practice in residential projects. It reflects that big push towards homes that are connected, energy efficient, and just more intuitive to live in. Designers need to be ready for that.
Okay, so pulling this all together, what does this actually mean for you, the listener, especially if you're in the industry? There seems to be this powerful opportunity emerging. We're calling it the adoption gap. Remember that stat? A huge 80% of designers believe tech improves their work, but only 40% of residential designers are currently using those key 3D visualization tools in their client presentations.
Exactly, and that 60% gap, that difference between belief and current practice, that represents an immediate, significant competitive advantage right now, especially for that 70% of designers who work solo or in small firms. Adopting these technologies isn't just about being more efficient. It becomes a primary differentiator. Offering those professional-grade presentation services using 3D visualization, that really sets you apart from basic DIY options. It lets you truly impress clients, turn that maybe initial uncertainty into real excitement.
And how does that help justify premium services or higher fees?
Well, these advanced tools let designers clearly demonstrate more value. Clients can see the vision so much better. It justifies the investment. We're kind of in what's called the early majority adoption phase for this tech. It's proven. People know it works. That 80% belief shows that. But it's not yet ubiquitous. It hasn't become commoditized. So there's this window of opportunity, maybe the next 12 to 18 months, roughly, where using these tools is a real competitive edge. After that, it'll likely become the standard expectation, not a differentiator. So the time to leverage it is really now.
That makes sense. But, it's never totally straightforward, is it? While the benefits are clear, what are the real hurdles? The challenges a designer might face trying to adopt this stuff today?
Yeah, you're right. It's not all smooth sailing. There are definitely practical challenges. First, the initial investment costs. Sophisticated software isn't cheap. And then there's the training needed. That can be a barrier, especially for smaller firms doing maybe 12 projects a year. Then there's the learning curve. Complex software takes time to master, which can impact productivity, at least initially, and those cloud subscription models. While they give you updates, it's an ongoing expense, unlike a one-time purchase. Plus, you absolutely need reliable, fast internet that's non-negotiable for cloud work.
Okay, those are practical hurdles. What about bigger market risks? Anything designers should be aware of?
That's a good point. Those slightly conflicting market size numbers we mentioned earlier, they kind of hint that the market's still finding its footing. That can mean some uncertainty about which specific trends or niches will win out long term. And while the cloud is dominant, holding 75% market share, there's always the potential for vendor lock-in. Makes it harder to switch platforms down the road if you want to. Plus, you've got constant pressure from improving DIY tools getting better all the time, and the risk that larger firms with more resources will just rapidly adopt all the same tech, eroding that early adopter advantage.
Right. So given all that, the huge growth, the changing clients, the amazing tech, but also the hurdles and risks, what's the smart play? What are the strategic recommendations for designers listening right now?
Okay, strategically. For solo designers, focus first on proven tech that addresses that big adoption gap. Master those 3D visualization tools. That 40% adoption rate is your opportunity. Maybe hold off on the absolute bleeding-edge VR or complex AI until client demand is really solid. For small firms, say 2 to 4 people, a comprehensive cloud platform often makes more sense than trying to patch together different single-purpose tools. Look for platforms that integrate well. Think about that industry consolidation trend like Studio Designer buying MyDoma. Platforms are getting bigger, and for all residential designers. Leverage that current 60% adoption gap in visualization. Use it now to justify premium pricing and demonstrate higher value. But simultaneously, prepare for when these technologies do become standard. It's about staying ahead, or at least keeping pace.
We've really covered a lot. We've seen how the interior design world is being fundamentally reshaped by technology. Sophisticated visualization tools bringing spaces to life, AI acting like a super efficient co-pilot. It's clearly not just about making pretty pictures anymore. It's about huge gains in efficiency, enabling seamless collaboration, and really meeting those evolving client demands for personalization and sustainability.
Absolutely. And that opportunity for designers to differentiate themselves by strategically adopting tech. It's clear, it's present, but as we said, it's also time limited. That window to gain a real competitive edge is definitely open now.
So it leaves us with a provocative thought, doesn't it? If AI and advanced software keep getting better at handling the technical side of design, letting clients visualize their perfect spaces with this incredible ease, what does it ultimately mean? What happens to the unique, maybe irreplaceable role of human creativity, human intuition, in shaping the places we live and work? What's that essential human touch that will define the truly exceptional, memorable designs of tomorrow? Something to think about. We really encourage you to reflect on how this wave of technology might empower your own creativity or maybe your decisions, whether you're a professional designer figuring out your next move, or even if you're just dreaming up your next home improvement project.
That wraps up this episode of the Interior DesignHer podcast. If you're AI curious but aren't ready to dive right in, stay tuned. In addition to upcoming podcasts that will showcase opportunities for AI in all areas of your interior design business operations, we're working on a series of AI tools designed to transform the business side of your interior design business. Unlike generic AI business tools, our AI is being trained by actual real-life human interior designers. In the meantime, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, rate, and review the Interior DesignHer podcast. It really helps us get discovered by new listeners. Next week, we'll be back with another great podcast. See you then.